Hey there, welcome back to the show. Today we're diving into something that's honestly kind of mind-blowing and maybe a little uncomfortable, but stick with me because it could change the way you think about your body and your emotions. We're talking about how our minds and bodies are way more connected than we realize, and how sometimes the weird aches and pains we feel might actually be our bodies trying to tell us something deeper. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit out there, but trust me, it's fascinating. So, let me start with a story. A few years ago, I had this nagging back pain that just wouldn't go away. I tried everything, stretching, massages, even those weird foam rollers, but nothing worked. It was frustrating, and honestly, I was starting to get worried. Then, one day, I was talking to a friend who's really into this mind-body connection stuff, and she asked me, "Have you been stressed lately? Or maybe holding on to some anger?" I laughed it off at first, but then I thought about it. Turns out, I had been really upset with someone close to me, but hadn't said anything. I was just bottling it up. So, I finally confronted the issue, had a tough conversation, and get this, my back pain disappeared almost overnight. It was like my body was holding on to that tension until I dealt with the emotional side of things. Wild, right? That's when I started to realize that maybe there's more to our physical symptoms than just, bad posture or too much screen time. So what's going on here? Well, the idea is that our minds are incredibly complex, and sometimes we're not even aware of what we're truly feeling. We might be angry, sad, guilty, or envious, but we don't register it consciously. Maybe we don't want to admit it because it doesn't fit with how we see ourselves. Like, I can't be angry at my sweet old grandma, or I'm not the type to get jealous. But those feelings don't just disappear, they linger. And if we don't deal with them, they can show up in our bodies as physical symptoms. It's like our conscience is trying to get our attention. It's saying, hey, there's something you need to look at here. But when we ignore it, it doesn't give up. Instead, it starts to manifest in ways that are harder to ignore, like back pain, stomach issues, or even heart problems. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say they have a broken heart after a breakup? It's not just a metaphor. There's real science behind how emotional stress can affect our physical health. And here's the kicker. Doctors aren't always great at connecting the dots. They're trained to fix the physical stuff, right? So, if you go in with a migraine or a twitchy eye, they might prescribe something for the symptom, but they don't always ask, so what's been going on in your life lately? Or are you feeling overwhelmed or anxious? It's not their fault. They're focused on the material side of things. But that means it's up to us to do the detective work. So how do we do that? How do we figure out what our bodies are trying to tell us? Well, there's this exercise that I've tried, and honestly, it's a game changer. It's simple, but it takes a bit of courage. You lie down, close your eyes, and just listen to your body. Go through each part, your heart, your stomach, your legs, your shoulders, and ask, if this could speak, what would it say? It sounds a little woo-woo, I know, but stick with me. When I first did this, I was shocked at what came up. My shoulders? They were screaming. Stop carrying everyone else's problems. My stomach? It was like, chill out. You're worrying too much about things you can't control. And my heart? Well, it wanted me to forgive someone I'd been holding a grudge against. It was like my body had been trying to communicate with me all along, but I wasn't listening. And here's the thing. Once I started addressing those emotional issues, once I stopped ignoring what I was really feeling, the physical symptoms started to ease up. It wasn't magic, but it felt pretty close. Now, I'm not saying that every ache and pain is a deep emotional issue. Sometimes a headache is just a headache. But if you've got something that's persistent, something that doesn't seem to have a clear cause, it might be worth asking yourself, what am I not dealing with? What feelings am I pushing down? It's not easy, though. We're wired to avoid uncomfortable truths. It's way easier to pop a painkiller than to confront the fact that we're resentful or heartbroken. But the cost of ignoring it is that our bodies keep paying the price. And wouldn't it be better to face it head on, even if it's tough, so we can actually heal? So here's my challenge to you. Next time you're lying in bed, maybe before you go to sleep, try that exercise. Close your eyes, scan your body, and ask each part what it wants to tell you. You might be surprised at what comes up. And if something does, don't brush it off. Take it seriously. Maybe journal about it, talk to a friend, or even seek out a therapist if it feels too big to handle alone. Because at the end of the day, our bodies are trying to help us. They're not betraying us with these symptoms. They're communicating in the only way they know how when we've shut down the emotional channels. So let's listen. Let's give our bodies the attention they deserve, and in doing so, take better care of our minds too. All right, that's all for today. I hope this got you thinking and maybe even inspired you to have a little chat with your own body. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, you're not alone in this. We're all figuring it out together. Take care, and I'll see you next time.